Let's talk about Johnson & Johnson, the brand we all know from our medicine cabinets, makers of Band-Aids, and that iconic white bottle of baby powder. For decades, their products have been a staple in homes across the world, trusted by parents and recommended by doctors. The red J&J logo is practically synonymous with safety and care, a name passed down through generations. For generations, Johnson's baby powder was a symbol of innocence and trust. It was sprinkled on newborns, used by athletes, and found in nearly every family's bathroom. The soft scent and familiar bottle became part of daily routines, representing comfort and reliability. But yesterday, December 22, 2025, a Baltimore jury linked that powder to a woman's cancer and handed down a jaw-dropping $1.5 billion verdict. The courtroom was packed and the decision sent shockwaves through the legal and business worlds. This isn't a minor lawsuit, it's a financial earthquake for one of the world's biggest companies. The verdict immediately rattled investors, and boardrooms across the globe are now watching closely, wondering what this means for the future of consumer safety and corporate accountability. The verdict has forced everyone to reconsider a product millions have used for over a century. Families, athletes, and even hospitals are now questioning whether something so familiar could actually be dangerous. How did a household staple become the center of a legal and scientific firestorm? The answer is complicated, involving years of research, conflicting studies, and passionate arguments on both sides. This is a story of trust, science, and a courtroom battle with global implications. The outcome could change how companies test and market everyday products, and how we as consumers evaluate the risks we take. Tonight, we'll break down who the woman at the heart of this case is, what the jury decided, and why the payout is so massive. We'll also look at how this verdict could open the door to thousands of similar lawsuits. We'll dig into what talcum powder really is, the controversy over its safety, and Johnson & Johnson's response. What are the facts and what's still unknown? We'll separate myth from reality. This isn't just a business story, it's about the risks we all take when we trust a familiar label. The products we use every day can have hidden dangers. Let's dive in. At the center of this landmark verdict is Cherie Craft, an ordinary woman with an extraordinary story. Cherie dedicated her life to helping others, running a non-profit and volunteering in her community. She never imagined she would one day find herself at the heart of a national legal battle. In January 2024, Cherie received devastating news. She was diagnosed with peritoneal mesothelioma, a rare, aggressive, and incurable cancer that attacks the lining of the abdomen. The diagnosis was shocking, especially since she had no known risk factors or family history of the disease. Her lawyers argued that this diagnosis wasn't just a tragic twist of fate. Instead, they claimed it was the direct result of her lifelong, daily use of Johnson & Johnson's talc-based products she trusted implicitly. For decades, Cherie used Johnson's baby powder every single day, believing it was gentle and safe. Like millions of others, she never questioned the product's safety, using it as part of her daily routine and even on her own children. The lawsuit claimed that the powder was contaminated with asbestos, a dangerous cancer-causing substance directly linked to mesothelioma. Scientific evidence presented in court showed how even small amounts of asbestos can be deadly over time. Cherie's legal team alleged that Johnson & Johnson knew, or at the very least, should have known, about the presence of asbestos in their talc. Yet they failed to warn or protect consumers, putting countless lives at risk. Cherie's story put a human face on the case, transforming it from a technical debate about science and regulations into a powerful narrative of trust betrayed and lives forever changed. The jury saw not just a scientific argument, but a real person whose life was upended by a product millions of families trusted for generations. Her case forced the courtroom and the public to confront the real-world consequences of corporate decisions and the importance of consumer safety. It was Cherie's personal journey, her courage, and her willingness to speak out that resonated with everyone in the courtroom, and ultimately, it changed everything. That's why this case became a landmark, setting a precedent and sending a powerful message about accountability and the value of every individual's story. The Baltimore jury didn't just side with Cherie Craft, they made history. In a case that gripped the city and drew national attention, the courtroom was packed with anticipation as the verdict was read. They awarded her over $1.5 billion, the largest verdict of its kind. The sheer size of the award stunned even seasoned legal experts, sending shockwaves through the legal community and beyond. First, $59.8 million in compensatory damages for her suffering and medical costs. This sum was meant to address the real, tangible impact on her life, her pain, her mounting medical bills, and the emotional toll she endured. But the real shock came with $1 billion in punitive damages against J&J, and another $500 million against its subsidiary. These numbers were almost unheard of, reflecting the jury's outrage. Punitive damages are meant to punish, not just compensate. They're designed to send a clear warning to corporations. Reckless behavior has consequences, and the justice system will hold you accountable. The jury's message: J&J's conduct wasn't just negligent, it was reckless, and they wanted to make sure it would never happen again. This verdict is a record setter, instantly making headlines and setting a new legal precedent. News outlets scrambled to cover the story, and legal analysts began dissecting its implications. It signals that, at least in this courtroom, the jury found the plaintiff's story not just credible, but deeply compelling. Their decision reflected empathy, outrage, and a desire for justice. The outrage was clear. The jury used the only tool they had, money, to send a message that would echo far beyond Baltimore, reaching boardrooms and courtrooms across the country. For J&J, this is more than a financial blow, it's a public reckoning. The company now faces not just monetary loss, but a serious challenge to its reputation and future conduct. The case will be studied for years. Law students, attorneys, and judges will look to this moment as a turning point in corporate accountability, and it's only the beginning. The ripple effects of this verdict are just starting to be felt, promising more battles and more scrutiny ahead. So, what's talcum powder? It's a cosmetic product made from talc, the softest mineral on Earth. When ground into a fine powder, talc absorbs moisture and reduces friction, making it a staple in baby powder and cosmetics for over a century. Johnson & Johnson built its brand on the image of talc as pure and gentle. But here's the problem. Talc is often found near asbestos in the earth. Asbestos is a deadly carcinogen, and even trace contamination can be dangerous. The controversy centers on whether J&J's talc was ever truly asbestos-free. Plaintiffs argue the company's talc contained asbestos for decades, and that J&J either knew or failed to test adequately. The legal battle boils down to one question: was there asbestos in that bottle? If so, a trusted product was hiding a deadly risk. The link between asbestos and mesothelioma is undisputed. Exposure to these microscopic fibers is the primary cause of this deadly cancer. Plaintiffs claim J&J's talc was contaminated because talc and asbestos are often mined together. They argue the company didn't test rigorously enough, letting asbestos slip into the final product. Evidence includes internal documents and expert testimony showing asbestos in historical samples of Johnson's baby powder. The courtroom battle is a clash of experts. Some say they found asbestos, others say the tests are flawed. For juries, the story is simple: a trusted product, a hidden danger, and a devastating outcome. The science is complex, but the stakes are painfully clear. That's why these cases are so explosive. Johnson & Johnson's response: total denial. The company's legal team called the verdict egregious and vowed to appeal, insisting their talc is, and always was, safe and asbestos-free. J&J says the lawsuits are driven by junk science and opportunistic lawyers. They point to decades of studies including independent research, finding no link between their talc and cancer. Their experts argue plaintiffs' tests are flawed, mistaking harmless minerals for asbestos. J&J claims most juries have sided with them and this verdict is an outlier. Their strategy: fight every case, never admit fault, and trust the science will clear their name. The battle is far from over. This verdict is just one battle in a much bigger war. J&J faces over 67,000 similar lawsuits, mostly from women linking talc to ovarian cancer. The company has set aside billions for legal costs and tried controversial tactics, like offloading liabilities into bankruptcy, to limit payouts. Courts have rejected these maneuvers, calling them abuses of the system. Under pressure, J&J stopped selling talc-based baby powder in North America in 2020, and worldwide in 2023. Their new powders use cornstarch, which is considered safe. J&J insists this was a business decision, not an admission of guilt. But for many, pulling the product speaks volumes. What does this mean for you? It's a wake-up call about the trust we place in familiar brands. The case shows that even iconic products can hide risks, and that the legal system can hold companies accountable. Massive verdicts like this are meant to deter unsafe practices and push for transparency. For most people, the risk from talc is low, especially now that J&J's talc powder is off the shelves. But the case encourages consumers to ask questions, read labels, and demand safety. It may also lead to stricter regulations and better testing for cosmetics. The message: trust is earned, not automatic, and safety must always come first. So, what's next? J&J will appeal, and the legal fight could drag on for years. With tens of thousands of cases still pending, more trials are coming. Some J&J will win, some they'll lose. This verdict will embolden more plaintiffs and keep the pressure on J&J to settle. The saga is a lesson in corporate responsibility and the high cost of lost trust. Johnson's baby powder, once a symbol of care, is now a symbol of controversy. The fallout will shape the industry for years. The truth is still being fought over in courtrooms across America. The Baltimore jury gave their answer, but the final chapter isn't written yet. We'll be watching to see what happens next.